Spanning over 10,000 acres on 3 campuses, Ohio State's College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences boasts an impressive area of learning. But more than acres, they also cover a lot of ground with their offerings for young people wanting careers in agriculture, including 22 bachelor's degree majors, 26 associate degree majors, and 32 minors. On this week's Our Ohio Weekly, we'll visit with the dean in charge of everything happening at OSU's CFAES, Dr. Kathann Kress.
From the Ohio Farm Bureau studio, this is Our Ohio Weekly, highlighting those who grow our food, fiber, and fuel, while examining issues that are important for farmers and their neighbors throughout the Buckeye State. Our Ohio Weekly is supported by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Here's Our Ohio Weekly host, Ty Higgins.
Dr. Kathann Kress has served as Vice President for Agricultural Administration and Dean of the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences at The Ohio State University since May of 2017. Dean Kress has responsibility for leadership of the college, which also comprises OSU Extension, research centers including the Ohio Agricultural Research and Development Center, OARDC, and the Agricultural Technical Institute, ATI, both in Worcester. She's also a full professor within the Department of Agricultural Communication, Education, and Leadership. With all that going on, there isn't much time to spare, but Dr. Kress is taking some of her time to visit with us this week and get an update of everything going on at CFAES. Dr. Kress, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Ty. It's a real pleasure to be here and to say hello to all your listeners. Those of us who are at the College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Sciences, we're all throughout the state in all 88 counties, and we have a lot of friends throughout the state.
When I think about the college, I think about what goes on year in and year out when you're in labs or working with plants or working with livestock. And agriculture involves much more hands-on learning than many other careers out there. And having those opportunities over the past year has had to be a challenge for you and the college. How has the college and its students been able to adapt to what we saw since last March?
Well, Ty, you're absolutely right. I have to say a year ago, we had our moments where we kind of went, oh my, how are we going to manage all of this? But the strength of our college is our people, our faculty, staff, and students. And I really can't say enough about how they all have come through and delivered through this year. It's been a tough year, but it's also been a good year for the college. I think we learned an awful lot about what we could do. And truthfully, our work never really stopped. First of all, because of the governor's agricultural exemption, we took advantage of that and requested exemption for our work because it is agriculture. And so we were granted the exemption. And so other than the College of Medicine, we're the only other college at Ohio State that was allowed to continue our research and continue our work. The other thing that was an advantage for us is a lot of our laboratories are outside. Whether in the barns, in the dairy, out in the fields. So it made it a little easier to figure out how to socially distance. But even in those labs, we moved pretty quickly to figure out how can we manage this? How can we ensure that, for example, our Center for Food Animal Health and Dr. Linda Saif could continue to do their work on coronavirus? I just can't say enough about our people and how our people really adapted quickly, got very creative in a very short amount of time, so that we could think about our extension work, our education in the classrooms with our undergraduates, and our research and how all of that could keep on going.
Farm Bureau started a hashtag when this all started to, roll downhill in April and May, and it was the hashtag Still Farming. And it's a great story along that hashtag about all the farmers and everyone in agriculture that had to keep going, that the rest of the world might have looked like it stopped for a time, but agriculture, to keep that food supply system moving forward, had to find a way to get the work done. And you mentioned that you mentioned the dairy and the barns, and many people may not know that Ohio State has working farms that are run by students. And I know that they kept farming. They were still farming through all of this, but
yes.
Challenges did have to come up through that college experience as well. What challenges were seen at those working farms?
Well, it of course, I think like everybody, but you're right, farming continued. We have about 11,000 acres throughout the state, and it ranges in everything from focuses on forage to our dairies to our swine. But yes, we did keep our students out there. We had to, I never thought we stopped. What we did was we shifted. And so we had to think about, okay, how can we lower the number of people and put them into shifts that are doing the work even at our feed mill. We have our own feed mill up on our CFAS Worcester campus. How can we, keep the numbers down but still keep the work going? Because just like everybody in agriculture, we had to keep going. The cattle still need to be fed. And so we just kept shifting and thinking about how to do that. The other thing that was important to us is it wasn't just that we had to keep farming. We had to keep doing our research and keep educating students. And you're right, the hands-on component of our work is really critical. So that was really important to us as well, to think about how we did that. One of the things that we did in Columbus that I think at first people thought was kind of humorous was we started pitching tents all around our Columbus campus and out on our Waterman facility so that we could accommodate social distance, yet still have our students coming in and doing the work. And I think at first people were just like, are they really pitching tents? What are they doing out there? Yes, we did pitch tents, and it turned out to work out really well. And in fact, so well that, now we've started to think about maybe we need even some structures in some of those locations that are sort of open air structures that could still allow us when our students are gathering, say they're in our quad in the Midwest campus or other places, that actually it was kind of a great way to bring our students and our faculty together in that sort of open setting, that we're not sure that was such a bad idea. The other thing I would just mention to you too is extension, of course, continued too. I've mentioned our education and our research, but extension just kept on going too. And I am so proud of all of our extension faculty and staff and how creative they got, and then how they capitalized on opportunities. Like with the Farm Science Review, we were just so disappointed not to be able to do it face to face. But until we realized that over 500,000 people joined us virtually because they could just pop in for some of the sessions, and a lot of educators throughout the state, popped in with their classes to learn more about what was going on. So I think in the future with Farm Science Review, we'll probably do a hybrid. We want to have face-to-face. We want to see all of our friends again out there at Molly Karen. But we're going to do some virtual things too so that more people can take advantage of the educational offerings that we have.
Visiting with Dr. Kathann Kress this week on Our Ohio Weekly. She's Vice President for Agricultural Administration and Dean of the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences. As you and I talk, numbers are going down. We're starting to see some of Governor DeWine's rules maybe lifted or adjusted a little bit to the times. And we're seeing maybe a path back to some sort of normalcy. What does that look like for the college?
Boy, that's a great question, Ty. What is normalcy going to look like for any of us, in the future? But mostly, I can't tell you how elated all of us are in the college to think about being able to all get together again. For us, we are not just a college, we're a community. And our community extends to our alumni, our external stakeholders, and everyone else. And we've missed everybody. Not having all of our normal gatherings and getting to see everybody, that's where a lot of work happens, is in those conversations, whether when we're hanging out at State Fair or we're visiting even at the county fairs or in our extension field days or anything else. So we're really looking forward to being able to be out and about and with all of the people that we work with. But we also learned some things. Right, I mentioned Farm Science Review and how we kind of went, wow, look at all the audience that'll join us if they can just join virtually for an hour and participate with us in those ways. And we don't want to miss that. We don't want to miss that opportunity for more people to take advantage of that. The other thing we realized, and we were one of the colleges at OSU that was already Zooming before the pandemic because of our locations throughout the state. But I'll be honest with you, we didn't do it very well. Because we just didn't really think about the capacity for it. Well, now that we've had plenty of opportunity to practice and hone our skills in that area, I think we've gotten a lot savvier about what works virtually and what doesn't. And so I think we'll be able to take advantage of that technology a lot more. It certainly has made it possible for us to connect our 12 research stations throughout the state, our 88 county offices, and our 2 campuses in a much more effective way than I think we did before, just because we've gotten better at it. And that's a good thing for the college, and I think it's a good thing for anybody who works with us. I think we also rethought what does need to be face-to-face and what might people want from us virtually. So I think, for example, with Extension, I think you're going to see us returning to our face-to-face opportunities because we know those are valuable. But just like with Farm Science Review, I think you're also going to find us doing a number of things that can be accessed 24/7 on demand when it's convenient for the farmer or convenient for that citizen to access us, not just when we might be able to get it scheduled.
This has affected many people and many organizations in many different ways. We talk about the mental aspect of it and how it might impact your job, your financial situation. For the college in that regard, how do things look financially at this point after dealing with what we've dealt with over the past 12 months?
Yes, thanks for asking, Ty. One of the things that I'll say about our college is we had the good fortune of going into the pandemic in a very strong financial position. Almost immediately, I have just a fabulous leadership team. I can't say enough about the group of people who surround me in the college and just how terrific they are. They immediately formed a triage team and started anticipating what do we need to think about, what do we need to get ahead of and take care of. So the college was in great hands. Just immediately. And of course, one of the first things that our head went to is, budget is obviously going to be impacted. So what can we do? So long before anybody started talking about any kind of budget issues, we already started implementing strategies for how we could kind of tighten the belt, what we could do to try to mitigate any problem that we might have there. There were some things that just kind of naturally helped, like travel didn't occur. And we have a fairly large travel budget, so that helped us recoup some savings. We implemented, along with the university, the hiring pause, where we slowed down on our hiring and did without in a few places, and that helped us rather significantly as well. And then there were a number of things that we looked at and said, not now. We're not going to do that right now. We can't stretch ourselves too far. We don't want to get ourselves out on thin ice. All of those things have helped us tremendously. And then, of course, the State House helped us a lot too. While we did have some cuts, we didn't take as severe cuts as we thought we might, particularly to our extension line and our research lines, and we're very grateful for that. And we're grateful that they recognize the importance of that work that's done. So we're continuing to monitor it. We're continuing to be cautiously optimistic about where we sit. But I would also mention that here's where our faculty and staff also rolled up their sleeves and really got to work. We did not slow down in our grant proposals and in our fundraising, and both, I think, were just incredible. We just raised, for example, $50,000 for the Waterman facility on the Buckeye Day of Giving. We had such an outpouring from our 4-H family in support of our 4-H camps and programs, which had to get real creative last year. And so the support we've enjoyed from our community, I mentioned earlier, we're a community that extends all across Ohio, and we're so grateful for everything everybody has done to support us, the volunteers who pivoted quickly to do whatever needed to be done, and everyone else.
Dr. Kathann Kress is Dean of Ohio State University's College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences. More of our conversation after this as our Ohio Weekly continues. No matter what livestock operation you have, your manure is valuable. Pitmaster goes right to work from the moment you pour it in. It can cut thin crust and break up solids. Adding Pitmaster to your pits, lagoons, and across your fields can lower ammonia levels from your livestock facility. Pitmaster improves the consistency of your manure, so it's easier to empty your pit or lagoon with less agitation, less fuel, in less time. To give Pitmaster a try, call Banbauer Fertilizer and Seed, 888-MAX-CROP.
Brad, let me introduce you to one of the most important people in Peytonville.
Is she the mayor?
No, insurance agent.
She must be really good.
The best. That's why she chooses Nationwide to help protect all the families, businesses, and dreams in Peytonville. People really count on her.
Seems like she's a local celebrity.
She's a local legend.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio. Are you a small business owner supporting agriculture, such as farm equipment, food processing, grocery store, or restaurant service? Do you continue to search for reliable and affordable health coverage? Search no more. The Ohio Farm Bureau has taken action to offer a new self-funded medical plan to save on expenses. This new health benefits plan, administered in part by Medical Mutual, offers great rates, expanded well care, and a variety of plans designed to meet your needs. Specialty products available to employees include dental, vision, and disability at specially discounted rates. This plan also includes a 24/7 nurse line and a physician consultation service for your convenience. Search no more. Visit ofbhealthbenefitsplan.org. Receive your exceptionally discounted quote today. That's ofbhealthbenefitsplan.org. ofbhealthbenefitsplan.org.
Farm Bureau Bank has built its entire existence around the lifestyle and needs of farmers. They're here to help grow traditions, give back to agricultural communities, and offer financial convenience for your unique way of life. Visit farmbureau.bank or call one of their personal bankers today, 800-492-3276 to learn more. That's farmbureau.bank or 800-492-3276. From sun up to sundown, Farm Bureau Bank is committed to serving you.
Your projects are a big deal, so use equipment that can get the job done. CAT equipment sets the standard for the industry. The CAT product line includes more than 300 machines to handle a wide variety of duties. Ohio Farm Bureau members can save up to $5,000 when buying or leasing qualifying CAT equipment, plus a $250 credit on select work tool attachments. Learn more by visiting ofbf.org/savings and click on the Caterpillar logo. Limitations and restrictions apply.
You're listening to Our Ohio Weekly. I'm Ty Higgins, this week visiting with the Dean of Ohio State University's College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences, Dr. Kathann Kress. And Dr. Kress, we talked about how the learning was continuing through the COVID-19 pandemic. Innovation and research continues at CFAES as well. What are some of the new happenings on Waterman Farm there in Columbus?
That facility is just our gem. When I came 4 years ago, truthfully, Ty, one of the reasons I came was because, they showed me Waterman and I just thought, wow, what opportunities exist here if you care about research, education, and extension work. It's a 261-acre working farm in the middle of the 14th largest city. My gosh, the opportunities, if you capitalize on them, are enormous. Plus, then it sits within this comprehensive university. So, first of all, we started dreaming big because that's what our college does. We're just all full of these big dreamers. And the first thing that we dreamed about was how can we help more people to see the story of agriculture, the food system, and the environment by using Waterman as our showcase for that. And so we really hope to be able to connect a lot of urban residents, school children, 4-H members, and everybody to understanding what modern agriculture, the modern food system, and the importance of our ecosystem look like today. Some of the ways we're doing that is, of course, we have Dr. Ratan Lal, who just won the World Food Prize for his work in carbon management. And we've renamed our center out there the Ratan Lal Carbon Management Sequestration Center. So a lot of that work's going on. In spite of the pandemic, we broke ground. We did it virtually, which sounds just impossible, doesn't it? But we broke ground for a controlled environment food production research complex. It'll be state-of-the-art, every kind of controlled environment that you can think of, which will allow not just our horticulture and crop sciences faculty and students to learn more about the controlled environments and how we can grow more food in those settings, but our plant pathologists, our entomologists, our engineers. We'll have drone technology and robotics and everything in this facility. It's going to be just amazing. And then we're also right now designing our multi-species animal learning center, which will explore every facet of human-animal interaction. And our goal is to have it be an education center where people can come and learn more about what happens when humans and animals interact and all of the research that we're doing in those areas. We also just have an incredible amount of turf grass research going on at the back of our facility, and it's incredible. But what's really incredible about it is that just across lane is where the university is putting in the West Campus Innovation District. It's going to be a hub for partnerships, public-private partnerships, and it's anchored really by 3 colleges: the College of Medicine, the College of Engineering, and I'm really proud to say our college. So one of the first buildings is an interdisciplinary research facility focused on health. You can't talk about health without talking about us. So we're part of that. And then more and more, the university sees the Waterman facility as part of the Innovation District. And that's part of our goal. We want them to recognize that agriculture continues to be a cornerstone, not just because we were the first college, but because it's all about how human species thrives and survives. So we're enormously proud of that. And the last thing I'd say about Waterman is we are big dreamers. And so we have this big goal. And our big goal is I'm not going to be satisfied until every undergraduate at The Ohio State University has some experience out at the Waterman facility before they graduate, so that they can be exposed to the food system and to agriculture and the environment. And we're well on our way with that. We have a lot of things going on. We partner with other colleges. So we have a forensics class out there, for example. We train all the dining services, student employees, so they can learn about the food system. And we're just going to keep going till every undergraduate, every Buckeye graduates with having an experience at Waterman as part of their education.
All these great state-of-the-art facilities. Take me in some of those buildings and talk about some of the latest research projects being developed there at the college.
Well, there's just a tremendous amount of work that we hope to be able to capitalize on. In the controlled environment complex, we have, for example, Dr. Cherry Kubota, international expert on controlled environment. Her work is primarily in strawberries. And a lot of times what people don't think about, so many people think, oh, anybody can put up a greenhouse and, grow their produce. It's not so simple. There's something that's called the Holy Grail in controlled environment, and that is you want it to not only look pretty and taste good, but you want to make sure you can also maintain the nutrient profile. And that all three of those things is really complicated to do at the same time. And yet Cherry's figuring it out. And so some of her work will be there. We're also really concerned about how do we reduce the energy footprint in controlled environments. And so our food and agrobiosystems engineer researchers and students are going to be working trying to figure that aspect out. Another problem for those who work in the specialty crops is how do you control all the different pests and diseases that can emerge when you move plants into controlled environments and manage all the moisture and manage everything else going on. And so our entomologists and our plant pathologists are all over that and doing an incredible amount of work. And this controlled environment will give them even more access to be able to do those kinds of things. Over in that new multi-species animal learning center, we're going to have every kind of animal you can think of, including we'll have a focus on exotic animals as well and animal welfare. We really hope to be able to showcase the research that we do across things like whether it's manure management, all the way to the work that we do at the Center for Human-Animal Interaction and the animal welfare work that can really show the humane ways that humans and animals interact with each other as well. At the same time, we're also going to be adding in more robotics and more technology to our dairy there on Waterman. Those beautiful cows we have there now are great ambassadors for our work. And we hope it can also then tell the story of the high-tech careers that exist in agriculture and maybe encourage a few more people to think about taking up agriculture as their career.
More with Dean Kathann Kress from the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences at Ohio State later this hour here on Our Ohio Weekly. Back after this. This is Our Ohio Weekly. Welcome back. I'm Ty Higgins. Today's story brings us to a Groveport farm that is home to a growing goat yoga operation, amongst other things. But more than that, Harrison Farm is all about planting seeds of perseverance that will sprout when the time comes. Here's this week's To the Beat of Agriculture.
My name is Catherine Harrison, and I live in southeastern Franklin County, about 30 minutes outside of downtown Columbus. I am a sheep, goat, and chicken farmer. It is truly the place that has given me the greatest sense of peace and the greatest sense of meaning in my life. In the times of joy, I have often found them because of the work that I do. And when I have struggled with challenges in my life, this farm has given me purpose, and the animals have allowed me to understand what value my own life has in the circle of life. history gives us so much context and perspective. For me personally, my own family history has allowed me to carry on and persevere. I was raised with help from my grandparents, to whom I was very close. My grandfather was absolutely my hero, and he valued our family history so strongly. I was fortunate that I came into the world at a point in his life where he was able to slow down a bit more on the farm, and so he truly imbued into me so much love, care, and education, much like Pygmalion shaping his Galatea. My grandfather truly wanted to give to me everything he could, and along with that, it was so important to him that I understood our family history and how I got to this point and why we were on this land. If I trace back in my family history from my ancestor who came to Virginia in 1631, I am actually the 13th generation of my family to farm here in America. That brings me a lot of perspective that through the challenges that every generation has faced, we have persevered. And no matter how much of a struggle I may think I am facing on any given day, someone in my family has faced so much more. My great-grandfather was an amazing man. I did not have the pleasure of knowing him, but through the stories of my mother and my grandfather, he very much came to life for me. He had a severe handicap in that one of his legs was about 6 inches shorter than the other. So he walked around on a welded metal lift that was on his boot. I still have one of those that was kept in the family over the years, and it is incredibly heavy. So at times when I am thinking I want to complain about the farm work that I do, I reflect on the fact that my great-grandfather worked this very same farm, cared for sheep just as I do, and he did it all with a 15-pound weight on a leg that's 6 inches shorter than the other. In the early 1900s, my great-grandparents' farmhouse that they lived in prior to moving to this farm caught on fire. My great-grandmother was the only person at home when this happened. She was able to save 2 things from the fire: a pillow that she had hand-embroidered and her piano. It is a beast of an instrument. I cannot even imagine the adrenaline-fueled strength she had, that nothing was taking her piano, and she managed to get it out of a burning house. So every time I look at that piano, I am reminded that we all have so much strength inside of us that we do not even realize until it is called upon. And that is something that I try to leave with my interns, the knowledge that there were others who came before them who survived all of the challenges, and they will be able to do so by calling on their own strength. I did not have the blessing of marriage or children. I was my parents' only child. My parents both passed much younger than I would have hoped. My grandparents are deceased, and I am truly solo in that perspective, which is odd for a farmer and a very unique challenge for my own soul, because it was not the journey that I wanted, but it is the journey on which I have been put. I have a real love for young people, and even though I did not have the joy of being a parent, I have been incredibly blessed to have so many young people come into my world. I am hopeful that one of the amazing young individuals who has been a part of this farm might choose to carry it on. I suppose at the heart of it, I want to ensure that I did my part for the legacy that I was handed. And I truly believe that each one of us is an amazing soul that has been crafted to do great things.
Thanks to Catherine for sharing her inspiration with us. This segment was produced by our friends at Wessler Media. If you'd like to preserve your own story much like what you just heard, visit them at wesslermedia.com, WESSLER media.com. I'm Ty Higgins. Our Ohio Weekly will be right back.
Brad, let me introduce you to one of the most important people in Peytonville.
Is she the mayor?
No, insurance agent.
She must be really good.
The best. That's why she chooses Nationwide to help protect all the families, businesses, and dreams in Peytonville. People really count on her.
Seems like she's a local celebrity.
She's a local legend.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
As a farmer-owned cooperative, Ag Credit knows a little extra capital can make a big difference in your operation, paying for new equipment, meeting unexpected expenses, and covering payroll. That's why they're returning $31 million to their borrower owners through their patronage program, lowering the cost of borrowing by 38%. What other lender does that? At Ag Credit, they're proud to share profits with their members. Visit agcredit.net to learn more about how it pays to do business with Ag Credit.
We believe in food.
Grown in the fields of Ohio.
In clean air and water.
And in preserving farmland forever.
We believe in opportunities for the next generation.
For nearly 100 years,
Ohio Farm Bureau has been bringing people together.
Join us in the journey.
Together.
Together.
Together with farmers.
Visit togetherwithfarmers.org.
At Georgia Boot, we build our boots just like the people who wear them. Tough, dependable, and hard-working. You need a boot that you can count on. That's why Georgia Boot always uses rich full-grain leathers and comfort insoles to maximize your all-day comfort. We've been building boots that way since 1937. You pick the best tools for the job. Why would your boots be any different? Georgia Boot is America's hardest-working boot. Go to georgiaboot.com to see our latest promotions or to find a dealer near you.
Welcome back to Our Ohio Weekly. I'm Ty Higgins with Dr. Kathann Kress, Vice President for Agricultural Administration and Dean of the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences at The Ohio State University. And Dr. Kress, extension is obviously such an important part of Ohio agriculture. How has that statewide outreach been modified to fit the times we're in?
Oh my goodness. All kinds of things that have happened with regard to extension. And again, let me just compliment our extension faculty and staff for how quickly they have moved. You know, extension is all about being responsive. And I think Ohio has great reason to be proud of OSU extension and how quickly they moved. Whether you think about last March when they pivoted so quickly and creatively and created March Ag Madness, where they were able to educate over 40,000 participants with their brackets of education. I thought it was really creative, and we were so delighted to see all the response that we got for that. We also then formed what we called the Lean on Your Land Grant Task Force, which again was another one of our triage teams to look out and start gauging where are we going to see some things that we didn't expect before. One of those, for example, was in meat processing and the food supply chain. And we all know about some of the challenges we had there. And yet our extension faculty and staff immediately jumped into how they could assist with packing plants, with employee issues, with making sure that PPE was readily available, to think about the best practices so they could be more effective and more efficient. Even being able to work directly with producers on other options for them during that time. And so I'm really proud of how quickly they were able to work on that. And then, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our wonderful 4-H faculty, staff, and volunteers. These people are incredible. I have always had a soft spot for 4-H. I had the pleasure of serving as the national director at 4-H headquarters at USDA for many years. I love that program. And once again, 4-H did not disappoint me in terms of reaching out and making sure that our young people throughout the state had as good opportunities as we could. They came up with 4-H Camp-ish, last year. I was a little doubtful about how you can do camp online, but they figured out how to do it. And our volunteers were terrific in terms of ensuring that young people still got opportunities to do their projects. That we worked hard to make sure that those who did have some very restricted and limited fare opportunities last year did so safely. And we're really looking forward to this year, really being able to get our young people back to things like state fair and having those opportunities that we know are really important in the 4-H program and for those young people.
Dean Kress, before I let you go, as you know, getting more young people involved in ag in one way or another is vital, and we'll have a new crop of high schoolers graduating here in a couple of months. What's your pitch to them to be a part of the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences, and an industry that needs them in a variety of ways?
And needs them desperately, to be honest with you. There's a survey that was done every year by USDA that shows that we're anticipating about 60,000 jobs, high-tech jobs in agriculture annually. And colleges like ours throughout the nation are only producing about 35,000 of them. So there's a significant gap there. And, what I think there's fewer and fewer young people who have direct experience with agriculture or a farm, and so who don't really understand what this is. And I think they have a lot of stereotypes about, it means I got to put on bib overalls and go milk a cow, right? Or something like that. And that's one aspect of our industry, but it's not the only aspect of it. In fact, milking that cow doesn't look anything like it did in the stereotypes that they have. It's actually such a high-tech industry now. And I think there's a lot of young people who don't understand that if I love technology, if I love my video games, agriculture might have something to offer me. Maybe you're interested in robotics. Maybe you like flying drones, or maybe you care about hunger or health. I don't think we've helped young people to understand that this is what we do. I've had some people who say to me, well, I'm more interested in a STEM career, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Well, welcome here, right? That's exactly what's going on here. Nobody uses technology and science more than agriculture does. And I think that we just have done a very poor job of helping young people to understand that excitement. What my pitch would be to young people is, no matter what you care about, this is the place for you. We believe that it's going to be a food scientist who prevents cancer. And we think it's going to be a soil scientist who creates the solution for clean water. And we think a plant breeder is going to solve the hunger crisis that the world is likely to face. And we also believe that it will be an ag economist who manages to negotiate peace through effective diplomacy tied to agricultural trade. So no matter what you might aspire to do, we think you can do it in agriculture, and we would welcome you to come and take a look at us.
Dr. Kathann Kress, Vice President for Agricultural Administration and Dean of the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences. Always great to visit with you, and hopefully next time it will be in person. Thank you so much.
I hope so, and go Bucks.
Unemployment fraud has run rampant through the COVID-19 pandemic. What to do if you're a victim after this, as our Ohio Weekly continues.
With more than 300,000 horses in Ohio, the economic impact of the equine industry in the state is valued at $2.8 billion. Much of that value comes from the standard-bred horse owners, breeders, trainers, and drivers who participate in the sport of harness racing in the Buckeye State, all supported by the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association. Since 1953, the mission of the OHHA is to preserve, protect, promote, and serve the entire standard-bred industry in Ohio and beyond. And the relationship between OHHA membership and Ohio's agriculture is undeniable. The farmers provide feed, bedding, and stables for the horses, and in turn those amazingly fast, four-legged athletes provide a major draw to Ohio's county fairs, bringing revenue to our rural communities. OHHA membership has its privileges. Members reap the benefits of having a strong voice for shaping statewide policies, receive continuous industry education, and valuable information in OHHA newsletters and magazines. Check out OHHA.com to find out how the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association is making great strides for you. That's OHHA.com.
Here in Ohio, we grow possibilities. By investing in the soybean checkoff, farmers can concentrate on running their operations, while the Ohio Soybean Council creates new opportunities for future generations. The soybean checkoff works to get new soy-based products on the market, builds relationships with international buyers, and partners with researchers to increase yield and on-farm profitability. Learn more at soyohio.org/herewegro. This message brought to you by Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
From water quality to the farm economy to over-regulation, farmers are facing a lot of challenges. That's why Farm Bureau is there when you can't be. While you're doing chores in the barn, planting seeds in the tractor, or herding livestock in the pasture, your Ohio Farm Bureau is tracking important cases at the courthouse, talking with lawmakers at the State House and on Capitol Hill. Farm Bureau represents you. They are there when you can't be. Become a member or renew your membership today by contacting your county Farm Bureau or by visiting ofbf.org.
Are you a small business owner supporting and involved with agriculture such as farm equipment, food processing, grocery store, or restaurant service? Do you continue to search for reliable and affordable health coverage? Then search no more. The Ohio Farm Bureau has taken action to offer a new self-funded medical plan to save on expenses. This new health benefits plan, administered in part by Medical Mutual, offers great rates, expanded well care, fixed monthly payments, and a variety of plan designs to meet your needs. Specialty products available to employees include dental, vision, and disability at specially discounted rates. This plan also includes a 24/7 nurse line and a physician consultation service for your convenience. Search no more. Visit ofbhealthbenefitsplan.org. Receive your exceptionally discounted quote today. That's ofbhealthbenefitsplan.org.
Case IH is a proud supporter of Ohio Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Ohio Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers, so join Ohio Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Get your discount at ofbf.org. That's ofbf.org.
Brad, let me introduce you to one of the most important people in Peytonville.
Is she the mayor?
No, insurance agent.
She must be really good.
The best. That's why she chooses Nationwide to help protect all the families, businesses, and dreams in Peytonville. People really count on her.
Seems like she's a local celebrity.
She's a local legend.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
Thank you, as always, for making our Ohio Weekly a part of your weekend. The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services says of the almost 1.5 million unemployment claims filed since May of 2020, half were flagged as fraudulent. Why is this happening, and what do you do if you're a victim of unemployment fraud? For this Legal with Leah, we discuss the issue and how you can protect yourself. I'm Ohio Farm Bureau's Ty Higgins with Leah Curtis, OFBF's Policy Counsel. Hi, Leah.
Hello.
Why is this happening?
Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, that during the pandemic, we have had an increase in unemployment benefits for people who are on the using the unemployment system. And so that makes it more attractive to people, to criminals who want to try to defraud the system. Another big reason is unemployment was thankfully made available for a lot of people who traditionally would not use it. For example, the self-employed. And so again, that makes for a bigger pool of people that are applying, more chances for people to fraud the system. And then last is there was just so many people, unfortunately, who were out of work and applying for those benefits. And that vast amount of claims makes it easier to try to slip in, makes it, again, people see an opportunity to try to commit some criminal activity and try to slip their fraudulent claims into.
How are those filing these fraudulent claims getting the information, and how do you know if you've become a victim of unemployment fraud?
You know, it's not clear how these people that are filing are getting this information, just like it's unclear how they get it with any sort of identity theft that unfortunately we're all familiar with at this point. But it is a serious thing that you should deal with immediately. You'll usually know because either yourself or your job will be notified of a claim being filed in your name. You might also receive a 1099-G, which is usually what the state sends you if you have received unemployment compensation in the last year. That would say, this amount of funds has been paid out to you. And then some people have actually also received notification that a claim was filed against them as an employer. I personally, that happened to me. So, and I do not have any employees. So that is another aspect that is happening as well. Someone may claim that you are an employer and file a claim against you.
If this does unfortunately happen to someone like it happened to you, Leah, how do you go about reporting it?
Sure. So the state has set up a website, unemployment.ohio.gov. You go there, there's a big red button that says report identity theft. You'll want to click on that. That'll get you to a form. You can fill it out. And, again, personally went through this. So I have talked directly to them and they assured me every form is reviewed by a human. So you can put stuff in the notes even if you want to, and they will be checking it. There's also a phone number to call if you do not have access to the internet. And ODJFS, Job and Family Services, will assist you with some further information on reporting. So you may want to also report this to your local authorities, and you can report it to the Attorney General as well. And they will follow up with some more information. If you get a 1099-G, the IRS does have some guidance to file on what to do when you need to file your taxes, and there's been that identity theft situation. And you can also, again, you'll report that to JFS, Job and Family Service, and they will work with you to get that corrected as well.
Of course, we want to stress if this hasn't happened to you, it doesn't mean that it can't. So what are some of the immediate steps that our members can take to protect their identity?
So with this, and really, if you've had any situation where you've been notified by a company that you may have had some sort of security breach with your information, some good steps to take are start with reviewing your credit report. Make sure there's not been anything happening you aren't aware of. You can put a fraud alert on that credit report, or you can put a credit freeze. So the difference is the fraud alert is just a warning. The freeze will prevent any new accounts from being opened. If you're married, you probably also want to check your spouse's credit reports as well, just to be sure. And then it's a good idea to check your other accounts, check your bank account, check places that you are using financial information on the internet, check up on your passwords, make sure you're using strong passwords as well, and kind of keep an eye on those things. So this, unfortunately, it's something we are all going to be dealing with probably for a long time. But, you keep an eye on those accounts and those credit scores, those credit bureaus, and routinely check them. Maybe when you have to change your clocks and change your batteries in your smoke detector, you also maybe should check your credit bureau as well.
Leah mentioned a couple of resources to report identity theft. It's unemployment.ohio.gov, and that toll-free number is 800-686-1555. Unemployment.ohio.gov, 800-686-1555. Leah Curtis, Policy Counsel with Ohio Farm Bureau, thank you.
Thank you.
Also want to thank Dr. Kathann Kress, Dean of Ohio State University's College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences, with her update earlier this hour, and Catherine Harrison, a Groveport, Ohio farmer, sharing her story to the beat of agriculture.
Our Ohio Weekly is supported by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And produced by Ohio Farm Bureau. Working together for Ohio farmers to advance agriculture and strengthen our communities. Be sure to visit our Ohio Weekly's podcast page to listen to previous episodes at ofbf.org/Our Ohio Weekly.
Thank you for listening. I'm Ty Higgins. We'll see you down the road.